The Pathways to Knowledge model of information processing identifies 6 stages that students go through when learning to process information. They are appreciation, pre-search, search, interpretation, communication, and evaluation. More information on this can be found in the Technology as Facilitator of Quality Education model. The students in this vocational agriculture class are learning about aquaponics by raising fish and vegetables in their aqua lab. The teacher begins the class by reviewing key terms and concepts with the students. The students are in the pre-search stage of information processing as they relate information to their prior knowledge.
Are there any factors that we need to be concerned with as far as environment or how to take care of these fish?
Water quality.
Water quality. Factors such as what?
pH, ammonia, food, dissolved oxygen.
Temperature, dissolved oxygen, and you also mentioned feeding. Any special considerations as far as food goes?
High protein pellets.
Yeah, we feed them a pelleted ration. As far as the other factors are concerned, what would be a good temperature range for a molly or a goldfish, would you think?
70.
Probably 70, 75. And is that going to change? I know we, as far as our trout are concerned versus our bass and catfish, are we concerned with temperature there?
Yeah, trout have to have it a lot colder. Maybe 60.
Trout, 60 degrees, and what about our bass and catfish? Now, that is a floating ration. And why do we feed our bass floating rations? Floating pellets versus sinking.
They don't settle on the bottom.
Okay, and where do bass primarily feed? Are they bottom feeders or top feeders?
Top.
Yeah, they are top feeders. Catfish, though, special consideration there. We also feed those floating pellets. Why don't we feed those sinking since they are a bottom feeder? Right, because they're just used to it, and they are in recirculating systems feeding off the top. Trout, are they a bottom or top feeders? Okay, as long as we're here, let's talk a little bit about our aquaponics operation. What is aquaponics? Anybody?
Combination of hydroponics and aquaculture.
Okay, hydroponics being what?
Growing plants.
Okay,
In a fish environment.
without soil. Aquaculture, raising fish, we put the two together, we have aquaponics.
The students are responsible for cleaning the fish tanks and testing the water quality in the tanks in order to ensure that the fish thrive. The students demonstrate the search stage of information processing by gathering data on water quality and recording information over time.
And what are you doing now?
I'm taking the pH level.
pH level. And that probe there, you just simply take the end cap off, stick in the water, and it automatically reads it since it has been calibrated already.
And it's about 6.7.
6.7, is that going to fall into our range?
Yep.
Okay, make sure you record that. What's the ammonia looking like?
About 0.6.
0.6. Is that a good number?
That's right around where we want it to be.
Yeah.
Would you say ammonia was?
0.6.
The students also gather data and record information about the fish they raise. They tag, weigh, and measure the fish to track their health and growth. This again demonstrates the search stage of information processing.
Is he tagged?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, got a non-tagged fish here, so Bryce is going to get the tagger ready. Keep going. Tag 498, you said? 498. Okay. Go ahead and we'll get a...
Yeah, I get 3.
3 pounds. If you can. Make a note too, he's got a little scarring around the posterior end there, probably due to bigger fish.
Students enter the data they collect in the lab into spreadsheets. They organize the information and determine patterns in their water quality and fish growth statistics over time. They reflect on and evaluate their information, drawing conclusions about the animal husbandry techniques they have implemented. This demonstrates the interpretation stage of information processing. Recording data in a log helps the students assess and modify their search strategy. This demonstrates the evaluation stage of information processing.
But looking at that growth rate, should he be starting to taper off a little bit, or would you suspect? And why is that?
Because he's kind of outgrowing his environment.
Yeah, his environment's restricting him, and we'll get them moved into that bigger tank next week. Why else? Any other ideas why he's starting to slow down now? You got to figure he's probably
getting pretty old.
Yeah, he's about 1.5 years old, so he's going to start going through a little period there where he slows down. His growth rate won't be near as much as it used to be. So what's that telling us about catfish? If we're going to market them.
We better start marketing them pretty soon.
Better market, well, how old should they be?
Probably about 2 pounds, 6 months or so.
Probably closer to 1 year, actually, about 1 year old, but the 2-pound range is pretty good. Because if you look at that chart after, that 2-pound range, they just went, they grew real well, and then they started tapering off a little bit.